All right, we're live. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with the exciting logo first this time. And what we would have is at this point we'd say, "Hey, Shu, take it," and he could play the theme song while this is up there for all our excited viewers. And then of course "Durr, durr, durr," and I come on and say, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Geek Primer Live, episode number 11. We've made it past the terrible tens, moving into 11. It's very exciting for us." And this week we're going to be discussing a couple different things. Of course, the big shtick is going to be summer movies, which this Friday, I guess, is officially, we'd say, the beginning of summer, even though I guess you could say Captain America and a couple of the other, little laid back. I'm sure Transcendence was supposed to be a big hit, so they were thinking that was going to be a tentpole movie. Didn't work.
You think so?
I do actually. Yeah, I do think that they were really hoping that Transcendence. I mean, they blow $100 million on a movie with Johnny Depp, science fiction, crap like that. I think they're expecting it to be much bigger than it ended up being, and like huge fucking tank.
So, so I think just really quick on that topic. I think Johnny Depp is box office poison. I think Johnny Depp can no longer open a movie, and in fact, it's starting to become synonymous with catastrophic disaster.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So,
I would say degrees of disaster. I don't know how the Rum Diaries did, but Johnny Depp, he opens terrible movies now. Like, that's what he does. Dark Shadows.
Yep. Lone Ranger. Right. Yeah. And actually, I retweeted Britt Hayes, who who does some stuff for Badass Digest, and I want to say Screen Crush, but I don't think that's right. My apologies. Anyways, I follow her on Twitter. A great writer. She's a really intelligent, on it kind of woman, and did a fantastic article on Badass Digest about Johnny Depp. Has he ever been a good actor? I mean, has he always sucked? I mean, has he, have we fallen into this place of he's had a couple of really wild, fun performances, and that's where we go. He's a great actor, but now it's like, if he doesn't rely on his twitches and his weird characterizations of stuff and things like that, and he just tries to act, he tends to kind of fall very flat, and apparently Transcendence, that's exactly what happens with his character. But that's not what we're here to talk about this year. Let's see. So,
not tonight.
Not tonight. No. So, of course, with me tonight is Dub. Dub, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
No, of course. Well, without you, it would just be me rambling to myself. So thank you for showing up. We pooled our money together and sent Shu to Vegas so he can lose his virginity. So he won't be with us this week.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's about time. I feel it's about time. So
I can just imagine the heartwarming tale.
Yeah.
Of Shu losing his virginity.
Yeah. So we've got it. So
a lot of emo music.
Oh yeah, no, a lot of prog rock still. Still going to be prog rock, and something to do with a Godzilla action figure, I'm sure. That's why you send him to Vegas, because let's face it, $15 holders.
It's not legal in Arizona.
Yeah.
What he needs is not legal in Arizona.
Yeah, it's not legal in Vegas.
But to be fair, Arizona is very repressive.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's into anything too freaky. I'm just saying that a Godzilla doll is involved and it's illegal in Arizona.
Right, and actually, I believe in Arizona, having your eyes open during sex is considered illegal. So there's a lot of factors.
It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah. So we all pulled together and got him a $20 bus ticket and $15 for a hooker. So he's off scoring big. So good job, Shu. Can't wait to hear the regales with the tales of debauchery. And then Tremendo is unfortunately injured. He was apparently in a match with Lobo del Diablo, and down in Mexico, and it was a hell of a scrap, and unfortunately Lobo Diablo got a hold of him, threw him around the ring a bit. He hit the ropes, went down, and Tremendo injured his back, so he will not be with us either. And Warren has no excuse. Yeah, Warren has no excuse, so he's just not here.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably fell asleep waiting, lounging in that bed. He got comfortable.
That's actually.
What you need to do is to go back to previous episodes and get that joke. But yeah, I'm sure he's sound asleep.
So good for him. He's getting some well-deserved rest after his hard day of laying down. He's like a cat in that way. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to look over. Summer is here. Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, yay, opens on Friday, which will kick off the summer season of tent poles and bombastic tent poles and more garbage. Well, we'll decide if it's garbage or not as the summer progresses. But we're going to kind of go over titles.
It's where they put their best foot forward.
Yes, this is true. Oh, apparently Warren has not fallen asleep or he woke up.
Hey, what's going on out here?
Yes.
What's all this noise?
So, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Sorry, I was on the phone.
No, not a problem. Not a problem at all. You've missed the exciting stories of Shu and Tremendo. There's nothing exciting there to tell. Anyway.
Well, we're down 2 men.
We're down 2. Yeah, we're down 2 tonight. Yeah, it was a debacle. It was devastating. It was a Roland Emmerich movie. Yeah, it was a Roland Emmerich movie wrapped inside of the Towering Inferno, smothered in earthquake.
How many Frankensteins was it?
Yeah, it's
Callback.
50 I Frankensteins of tragedy here.
Oh my god.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it was half an I Frankenstein. Yeah. You need to get into fractions for that.
It was just an I Fra.
It was I Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
This is a Frank Langella movie.
So before we get into the summer spectacular extravaganza that's awaiting us, Dub, you have posted your latest video. Actually, first off, for those who aren't watching, explain to them your channel.
My channel is just where, when I get the time, I make a video about a movie I've seen recently. Generally, it's what I saw last night, because the idea would be that I saw something last night and then made a quick video. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to do that, so it's probably should be changed to what I saw recently.
Doesn't have the same ring to it.
Also, in reviewing, I see that I have typos. Anyway. So I saw Valkyrie.
2008.
Have either of you seen it?
Yes.
I saw it. Dun, 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 dun.
So yeah, it's associated with the song.
Isn't it about the making of the song?
Song, yeah.
So there were parts that I really liked, and then parts of it I didn't like so much.
Explain really quick though what the plot is.
So the idea is that it is late in World War II, and a group of high-ranking, patriotic German officials realize what's happening and realize that caught in the insanity of Hitler's Germany, there is no future, and so they have to find a way to do like an old-fashioned putsch or a Russian like military coup style takeover. They need to kill Hitler and then quickly take power before chaos ensues. So it's basically I just made that way too wordy. It's a plot to kill Hitler.
I thought that was pretty
true story.
Yes, based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story. Apparently, several people tried to kill Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking. I think we were one of them.
He had a target.
Yeah, the Americans tried to kill him.
I believe
they were called and I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think we sent an army.
Yeah.
Didn't we send a whole army over there to try and do that?
Yeah,
it was called. Take an army to kill Hitler. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
actually, it just took one man.
Enough talk about Vietnam. Let's get back to the movie.
So what's fun about this movie is that it's essentially a series of, it's a thriller. It's a series of people speaking conspiratorially, which is always fun. Stakes are very high, and they have several sort of. It's all wrapped up in a single plot, which is the Valkyrie, where it gets its namesake,
Operation
which is
Valkyrie.
this. It's the strategy with which they're going to take over the government and the military and Germany, and then, well, I guess all the properties Germany owns.
Right. Just like Risk.
So in order to, so they had this plan to set themselves up, and then I don't want to give too much away, but they set themselves up, and then they kick things in motion. And what's fun about the movie is most of the movie is this sense of like, setting up, setting up. Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? There's a lot of tension throughout the movie. Very well done, I thought. Because as I was cutting, I had a copy of the movie. I was scrubbing through, and I was seeing these scenes again, and I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. Oh yeah, that was pretty nice. So, but the problem was it ended bad, and when movies end bad, you sort of end with a bad feeling about them. I have found anyway.
Sure.
So it was good but flawed, as we all are.
That's what you got.
That's how you're gonna end
See
it.
the movies.
That's how you're ending your story.
Yeah, really.
Now I feel bad.
I'm very ambivalent in my reviews. It's got the good and there's bad. I think there's parts that.
Maybe you should call your show. Yay!
I would. I'm still figuring out how to spell it.
Yeah, how do you spell that?
And see if I can get the URL. Just go to www.
How many E's is that? I don't know.
It's enough. It's just enough E's.
Yeah, I had to register all those with GoDaddy. Like.
All right. That's enough.
I don't remember the movie that well.
Sorry, hold on. Was that Warren?
I was just going to say, I don't remember the movie that well, but I remember the one thing that bothered me is, like, and it's a lot of these movies where I know what happens, like I know the history, like I know they didn't kill Hitler.
Right.
So I pretty much know how it's going to end. So in some ways I realize that movies like that the enjoyment is kind of gone for me. Like I just sort of watch it to watch it, and very few times do I really like them. I just kind of like, meh,
Yeah, it's.
Well, they're tough in terms of.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, they're tough in terms of pacing, because one of the other issues I had is once the thing is going to happen happens, your movie needs to sort of pick up dramatic tension, not sort of drop it off. I think that was part of the problem with like Pearl Harbor. I don't think it had the tension, and that was part of the problem with the place where it was right. So Valkyrie is in many ways, in my mind, the inverse of Titanic, where in Titanic everything up until the event you knew was happening was boring, and then the event itself was a thrill ride. With Valkyrie, everything leading up to the event you knew was happening, or not going to happen in this case, was a thrill ride. And then when the event happened, it was like, now it's boring. Like now I know what happens. Let's hurry up and get to the moving on with history part.
Sure. Yeah, it's that type of genre, and I don't even know what you would call it. The true to life thriller, I guess, is a tough one to do.
Yeah.
What was the what was the Cuban Missile Crisis one with Kevin Costner? I want to say it was called 13 Days.
Yeah,
13 days. Something days. Yeah, 13 days. That movie's not watched that often or spoken of that often. I thought that was actually one of the movies that really pulled off keeping tension going about the Cuban Missile Crisis, since we're still here, so we know the outcome.
Right.
And I think All the President's Men, I think, is another one that kind of is able to keep the tension going. It's a tricky off when you know the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if they do it right, where all the stuff that you didn't know, like all of the back and forth between key players and whatever historical situation that they're talking about, if they make that interesting and fast-paced, I'm in. But a lot of the times, I know how it's going to end. I guess Apollo 13 is, I
there
like
you
that
go.
movie.
That's
was
another good
kind
one,
of
right?
The opposite.
Yeah.
Of that, like all the way beginning. I know they make it, but like the whole from beginning to end, I was into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
that was also a story we didn't all know very well, or at least I didn't.
Yeah, but I did know it. Like I knew they made it back, and I knew all that stuff. And maybe it was because it was all like Kevin Bacon and Tom Hanks and Bill Paxton, all these guys that I like and whatever. That made it more interesting. Who knows? Or, maybe Ron Howard's just better at it than Bryan Singer. I don't know.
Yeah, I think with all of these.
I remember loving Ed Harris in that.
Yeah.
He's so great they brought him back for Gravity. He's still at NASA. He's still there.
He just got a job there.
And that's all he does. He just they relay what he needs to say, and then he just broadcasts it to the astronauts. The thing about these films that need to work is because we know the outcome. It's about the how versus the what.
Right.
And that's probably the most important thing that to really kind of keep things going. Because with Apollo 13, it was okay, they need to make something out of a cardboard box, 2 tampons, and and an ant. And so it's like, okay, how are they going to do this? So it's like learning those specific details is really much more interesting than the outcome itself, I guess, in a weird way. Although, and I haven't seen Apollo 13 in years, so I don't even remember if there was like a did they have one?
I think it's so interesting that you remembered that scene though, where they have to build
that's a great scene.
Stuff out of what he lays on the table. That's such a memorable scene, and it's very cinematic in the sense that you see the pieces. You're given a little bit of information, and then you see what they put together. It's a very striking moment. I like that you pointed it out.
Also, the power-up scene where they have to figure out, like, the sequence of events and starting things up, because they only have a certain amount of juice in that battery, and like they would do it, and then it'd be like, oh, we went over. They have like the little meter. It's all, that stuff was memorable for like boring little details, but it's like it's amazing to think that at some point in history they had to do that.
Yeah, well, it's so I just really quickly I saw Locke this past weekend, and I don't know if you know anything about this. It's Tom Hardy in a car for 85 minutes driving to London, dealing with personal shit on his phone. And it's and the stakes are relatively high because he's got a job that's incredibly important as far as something going on. I mean, it's not like the stakes are not world domination. They're not anything. They're very personal stakes. But it's the how the thing is handled and stuff like that. It's really fascinating that it does a great job of keeping up tension on subject matter that is personal and things that we could relate to on a human level. And those are the things that I feel kind of work really the best in those types of situations. Like I said, with putting the box thing together, it's like, oh shit, we could make one of these. We could make this weird vacuum thing if we had the egg carton in the box and the hose. And so it's that kind of stuff where it's like, oh god, it's those universal things that you're able to relate to that create the tension. And like I said, and Locke is not a thriller. It's not a it's not about an assassin or getting to someplace or you're running from somebody or anything like that. But it's a fantastic film, and Tom Hardy's just through the roof, and the script is great. I would highly recommend it to anybody.
I heard the filmmaker on The Treatment.
Yeah.
Or one of those podcasts. They did that drive twice a night over 9 days, and they recorded it all the way through twice a night over the course of 9 days.
Oh, interesting. And then they had a movie. That's pretty good. So did they mention how the phone calls worked? Like, did they have the people just calling in at certain times or something like that? Did they discuss any of that?
He said they were sitting in a rest stop somewhere, like halfway between there, and it was a very sort of dingy location from which they were calling.
Oh, interesting. Huh? Yeah, it's a really solid film. It's well worth it. But going back to the whole thing about it's fascinating to see tension created from something that isn't about New York being destroyed or what anything that we might see in a giant summer blockbuster. Hey,
Segway.
Yeah. So let's hop on our Segway and scootle on into summer stuff. So summer's here. We're only going to discuss films through the end of August. Because that, in my mind, officially is May through August. That's the summertime. Then you got to go back to school. And we're starting, of course, this week with Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and we are going to end it with. Actually, in my mind, it would actually be Guardians of the Galaxy on August 1st. But it looks like we go all the way through to. I would say probably Sin City: A Dame to Kill For is the last quasi big name, unless we want to include Leprechaun Origins on the 29th of August. Probably not.
Not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I will admit this. I've never seen a Leprechaun movie. So.
What? You haven't seen any of them?
You've seen a Leprechaun film?
I've seen 3 of them, including Leprechaun in the Hood.
Oh, nice. God. Well, that would be the one. I mean, that and Leprechaun in Space, I think, would be the 2.
I've seen that one too.
Oh, right. God.
They're awesome. They're great movies. The only problem with them is that there are actually scenes in which the Leprechaun is not in it. So I don't know why
the downfall.
I don't know why you would film those scenes, because if you've ever seen those movies, as far as I'm concerned, every time the Leprechaun is on screen, I'm sold.
Is it always Warwick Davis still? Like, is he?
Yes, yeah, he was busy. So,
but is it still Warwick Davis?
I got a text.
Yeah, it was always Warwick Davis. Yeah.
I got a text from Todd earlier that was like all exclamation points, and it said, "They got Kenny Baker."
You know what? I saw that too, and all I can think was, he's got to be like 70 years old. How could he sit in that costume? Like, that's got to be horrible. Okay, cut. Kenny, he's dead in there.
No, see, this is what I told Todd, is that in order to save money, they called him up and they said, "Hey, listen, there's literally millions of little people and children that would do this for free. We'll give you $1 just so we can say you're back."
Yeah. And I actually hear that Baker tweeted, "Fuck you, Dinklage. I'm in it. You're not."
Game of Thrones, my ass.
Yeah, fuck Game of Thrones. I'm already fucking you too. Also the joke today was, in the picture you saw R2-D2 in a crate in the back.
Right, was he in the box?
That's exactly
what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Oh, it's R2-D2.
Let me pull up this picture so our audience can see what we're talking about.
All right. So yes, for anybody who's living in a bubble right now, the cast of it was officially announced. Key members of the cast, I should say, were officially announced today for Star Wars Episode 7, yet to be titled.
I guess there's not a lot of women in a galaxy far, far away.
No. Apparently, there's only 2, a mother and a potential daughter. Although there are a couple people that I read today that they're still.
Well, how many women are in the first one?
No, exactly.
Just one.
Just one.
That's why they're fighting. It's like Smurfs. They're just they got one.
It's a Smurf world.
They got that, or they fuck a cat / Ewok. You got one choice. That's it. But yeah. So they are going to announce. I mean, of course, they didn't announce that Billy D. Williams would be back.
Oh,
so
hey.
We're waiting for that to happen. And then Lupita Nyong'o, of course, apparently had meetings with J.J. Abrams within the past few weeks, there was some other woman with the last name of Sellers who I didn't know who she was. She had like 1 credit. I thought maybe it might be Peter Sellers' daughter, but definitely not. But she had like 1 credit on IMDb, and so I'm guessing that probably there will be a further cast, because this is just for the key cast, I'm guessing, to sit around for a read-through. There will be other people cycling through, and I'm hoping that some of them will be females. Though I think the cast itself is actually quite impressive. A lot of good up-and-comers with some very solid talent. So, sorry, Aaron, did you have the list there, or the picture?
I did not have the picture. I got distracted by Shu, who was trying to comment on our YouTube page.
Oh, what's Shu got to say?
Go back to you.
I was responding to him, just saying that it's hard because we're so far behind.
Got it. So what was Shu's statement?
Shu agrees with me. A good movie can be largely ruined by a bad ending and hurt as a result, whereas a bad movie can be salvaged by a good ending. I agree with both of those points.
That's true.
Excellent, and this is why Shu is in Vegas not getting laid, because he's actually watching our show.
I know.
You could be doing both.
Yeah,
I'm watching YouTube.
This is why it's only legal in Vegas.
So you can't use your smartphone in here. This is a strip club.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Shu missed out on the whole Vegas joke earlier, but that's okay, and he's probably gone now.
Wait, I just have to put this out there because somewhere there's a joke about I'm watching you space tube, like tube is the verb, where he's watching YouTube and he's with a prostitute, but I don't know exactly what it is.
Right.
I just want this on record. I'll go back and rewatch this and I'll think of what the joke is, and I'll email you guys later.
Fair enough. Okay, moving back on to summer films. Let's take a look at May really quick here. I don't know if any of you guys have a schedule up here.
Yeah, I got May.
Okay. So, okay, great. So, May. I'll tell you what. Let's start with you, Warren. May, give me a couple films that you're excited about. Give me a couple films you think are. Give me your May picks, actually.
May. Well, I want to see Amazing Spider-Man because I didn't actually see the first one in the theaters, but when I saw it on video, I I liked it. I was like, oh, this is better than I thought it'd be. Especially since I knew it was just thrown together so they can keep the property. Like they
Sure.
needed to film a movie before a certain date, so they could. Otherwise, it would revert back to Marvel.
Yep.
And I think it was a good movie, or I enjoyed it. So I'd be interested to see what the second one is. Although it looks like it's going to have Spider-Man 3 problems with so many villains. It could be bad. Obviously, I want to see Godzilla. I saw another preview that looked like they said it wasn't Mothra, but it was it was clearly a flying thing.
The Japanese trailer today was
Lyra.
Yeah, it wasn't Mothra. They said it was something else, but
yeah, it's some like there's apparently a friend of mine who's a big Godzilla fan at work saw on the monitors it was listed as Muto 1 and Muto 2, so that's who knows, but yeah, so, but it's
from the last trailer I got the sense. From the last trailer I got the sense that instead of it was Godzilla attacking the city, it was more like this group was. I mean, this is just my sense from the trailer, so it's not really spoilers. It's just my interpretation. Is that this group has been keeping Godzilla like it's their own weapon.
Yep.
And they unleash it to protect them from this other thing. So, because I was wondering how they were going to handle, all that stuff, like have Godzilla be the hero, because clearly they kind of want it to be the hero.
Yeah, that's the sense I got from the trailer as well. And man, I mean, that he looks good. Godzilla's looking really good in that one. And yeah, it's Godzilla is one of the two movies that I'm looking forward to this summer the most, and I'm really fingers crossed that it's good. It can't be worse than the Emmerich version.
No, yeah.
Right. I caught like 20 minutes of that the other day.
It's unwatchable.
Atrocious.
Yeah, it's
so
unwatchable.
Bad.
It's a horrible, horrible, horrible movie.
Yeah, I was thinking about the scenes, even where Godzilla is running down the streets and like turning left and right, chasing the helicopters.
Right.
There's parts of that where the streets are like these hard right and left turns, and it's like, you can't even get New York City streets right?
Yeah.
Like, you paid so little attention, you cared so little about the quality of your movie that you want Godzilla running through the streets of New York, and you don't even make real streets. You make, like, generic cityscape maze walks for him. It was so bad, like, on every level.
Yeah, it was horrible. And my other main movies were just X-Men. I want to see because I like the comic book stuff, and then was it A Million Ways to Die in the West? The trailer was just, it cracks me up so much that I'll either be really disappointed, but I feel like even if I'm disappointed, I'm gonna laugh.
I think that's A Million Ways to Die in the West is it's Family Guy, the live action film, as most of his movies are. So there'll be a few good. I mean, the trailer shows a few very, very goofy, funny jokes. If the film blows, the film blows. But yeah, there should be at least some laughs.
Yeah, he said something that I thought was very smart in the Entertainment Weekly article I read about it, where he talked about how to contemporize a period piece. And he said, you just make your protagonists modern characters.
Right.
Walking around in a period world, and you've automatically updated. He said that's what Blazing Saddles was. It was two men of the 70s walking around in the Old West.
Right. Yep.
And I completely agree with him. And I think having seen the trailer and knowing that he's coming at it from that perspective makes the movie so much more appealing for me. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
that's definitely on my short list, as is Godzilla. I'm more worried about Days of Future Past. I feel like I'm going to see it because I want to see it in the theater, but that I'm not going to like it very much. I have seen the storyline in the old 90s X-Men cartoon very recently, the 4-episode arc of Days of Future Past, and it's very, as you would imagine, it's very time travel heavy with questionable issues. I have time travel issues. Yeah. And the story is pretty thick with them. So
I am not worried about Days of Future Past because it's just going to suck. I have no doubt in my mind. It's when when characters are revealed to us through Burger King ads. Today they just put up Colossus. His went up eating a Western bacon cheeseburger. Because you've got to have an iron fucking stomach to eat at Burger King.
Really,
actually,
it really
that's
is.
how he died.
Let him be.
Spoiler alert.
All the help they haven't. That poor marketing team for Burger King. They have a horrible product. They've got to do everything they can.
Well, I'd say the commercials themselves are probably better than the film. I don't know. The film to me looks like a complete disaster. Which may make it actually watchable once I actually get there and see it. So yeah. So any other?
I want to like it. Let's just say that I don't have a lot of faith in it. I just want to see it.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, no, I'm hoping that it's wrong. I mean, I'm hoping that because that I'm hoping that all the trailers that are garbage, that it pulls a Thor, that everything about it that we're afraid of turns out to be actually worthwhile. So
right, who knew it could be good?
Exactly.
Well, the last one I want to say honorable mention in May is I'm going to be swayed by the early reviews of Maleficent. That could either be unwatchably bad or shockingly good. Like I don't think it's going to be blah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think it's gonna break one way or the other, and I'm gonna wait for the early reviews, but I'd like to see that one.
Fascinating. Yeah, I think on Maleficent to me looks like it's probably going to be this year's Snow White and the Huntsman, which is just
yeah, it had that feel.
Yeah, so it's and of course it will do better than Legend of Oz: Dorothy's Return, which I did not even know.
Well, I don't know because
it's a cartoon. I didn't even know it fucking existed until I saw a poster.
I've been seeing a lot of trailers for it because I go to cartoon movies, but I've seen a lot of trailers, and it has this feel of somehow a direct-to-video movie found its way to the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
It is a direct-to-video movie.
Yeah.
Did you see Freebirds?
No, I did not see Freebirds, but no, I didn't see it. I don't want to make fun of it either because I know the guy who was head of story. He's a good guy and he's a great artist. And
well, it had time travel issuws.
I just didn't see it because
Austin didn't just be me.
Austin didn't want to see it, so I'm not. But did your kids like it?
How about Planes?
No, but Austin liked it.
Hey, it's got planes. It's got planes in it.
He also likes Cars too. He likes pretty much anything. But that's the whole point of Cars.
Absolutely. And Planes was gonna get made no matter what. But it is the shallowest drivel that I have seen come out of Disney in. Well, I guess not a long time. Did you see Atlantis? But yeah, Planes is a straight-to-video movie that got a theater release somehow.
Well, there will be a second Planes movie, and we'll discuss that actually in a little bit because it's coming up in one of our months here.
Those movies sell merchandise. I mean, that's the only reason. You go to any Toys R Us, there's whole aisles of Cars stuff. So
Cars.
I heard from a Disney insider that the movie Cars has sold more merchandise than anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, that's public knowledge.
Don't doubt that.
It's the biggest money maker of all times. Yeah, all the accessories.
Did I say Disney insider? I meant guy on a bus.
Yeah, it's massive.
I believe him.
So.
All right, June.
I just want to throw. No, hold on here. I want to throw out a couple titles for May. So a couple titles still that I noticed that. So first off, Neighbors is supposed to be hysterical. Which surprises me because when I first saw the trailers for it, I was like, okay. It doesn't seem like a remake of the Belushi-Aykroyd Neighbors yet at the same time. Yeah, it's got that same dynamic to it, right?
But that movie was really dark and creepy. I mean, that was that movie stood out in that time period as just a trippy, weird, dark movie.
Yeah, it had that kind of Burbs in a way.
I don't even remember what happened in that movie, but I just remember it not being funny, and I think it's weird what you can still call a comedy. I happened to catch Drinking Buddies because it was recommended in comedies on Netflix. That's not a comedy. That's a boring movie nobody can sit through. So after about 45 minutes, we turned it off, and I started watching Adventureland.
Well, I like Adventureland. That's the...
Yeah, but that's not a comedy.
No, it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy. Well, it's really different when you're thinking it's like Zombieland, since he's in two movies that are there's no zombies in Adventureland.
The zombies gonna get here.
So Neighbors is something that I'm very curious about checking out. The Double, which with Jesse Eisenberg, which is a Richard Ayoade film. He did Submarine a couple years ago, and he is Dean Lerner from Dark Place, and he's in the IT Crowd. He moved into directing. No. He was Dean, the guy that played Dean Lerner.
Oh, the black guy.
Yes. Richard Ayoade directed a version of The Double based off of the oh my God,
Dostoevsky.
thank you, the Dostoevsky story. That trailer looks pretty fascinating. The Immigrant I'm kind of curious about, but the other one that I'm actually very curious about is Night Moves, which is I believe also with Jesse Eisenberg maybe.
Everybody likes Jesse Eisenberg.
I think so. I think I got a Jesse Eisenberg thing going on. But it's one of the anyways, and it's by Kelly Reichardt, and it's about urban terrorists who want to take out a dam, and the trailer for that looks pretty stunning. So there's kind of a The Immigrant, the new James Gray film, is coming out as well with Marion Cotillard and Joaquin Phoenix. So there's some interesting looking small indie films coming out as well during the month of May, which of course will be completely blown out of the water by the giant tent poles. So let's move on to June then. And so, all right. So I'll tell you what, Dub. Starting with you, let's do some June here.
I feel like June is dominated by the weekend of June 13th. How to Train Your Dragon 2 and 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big weekend. The same thing I said about Maleficent, I'm holding on to for Edge of Tomorrow as well, which is the trippy time loop.
Edge of Tomorrow to me looks like it's got a lot of potential. I mean, sure, it's a Tom Cruise movie. It's directed by Doug Liman, who did great with The Bourne Identity, but also did Jumper. So it's as far as his science fiction cred go, he's not as solid.
Well, I wanna give Jumper credit for being a poor story, but very well directed. It was very well envisioned.
Is Jumper's the one with
Hayden Christensen?
Darth Vader, right? With,
yes, yeah.
Yes.
And Jamie Bell.
If I was entertained for a Netflix movie that I was just sort of watching, it sort of played the role.
I think I caught it TV.
Yeah,
even lazier.
I watched it and I found some of the premise interesting. Like, that would be cool to be able to have a secret room in your house that you could go into with no doors that nobody else could get to. Like, that would be neat.
Yeah, I think Jumper, where Jumper fails, like a lot of movies these days, is instead of telling us a single story, they want to set up a franchise, and that's all Jumper was. Yeah. It ends with this whole, and the world is now opened up, and God knows what will happen in the next movie. Nothing's going to happen in the next film because he didn't give us a good first movie. Yeah. And that's one of these things. The Golden Compass from a few years ago is the other huge movie that to me just it blatantly did that, and it's real stuff like that is really upsetting. Where it's just like, we're telling you a story, sort of, and that just it never really works. And June looks like, of course, June being the middle of the summer is going to also give us Transformers 4: Age of Extinction at the end of the month, which will probably be massive. It's probably going to suck, but it's probably going to be massive.
It'll be huge. Everybody will go see it.
Yeah, exactly. We will all go.
Everybody involved in this podcast going to see it in the theater?
I probably will not see it in the theater. I do not like to give Michael Bay my money anymore. I used to love Michael Bay. I was a huge fan of The Rock and Bad Boys. I was like, yeah, these stylized action movies. And then I don't know what happened.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of Pain and Gain. I just think his.
I never saw that. I did want to see that. I thought maybe that would be.
Pain and Gain actually I think is quite solid. It's probably his best movie because it's the closest thing to something where his style and his odd sense of humor actually works. I don't know if he understands that he was making a satire or a comedy, but it worked really well.
He did.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
I think so. And as a matter of fact, it was one of those movies that actually made me think: does he knows that he's making crap and shoving it down our throats and just laughing all the way to the bank with the Transformers films is what I'm starting to think.
Well, I'm sure he thinks like Sullivan and Sullivan's Travels, that there is a place for this particular kind of silliness.
Sure.
That there's a value to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, and then of course, and those are kind of the big tent poles of June. I would also like to point out Jersey Boys.
Yeah,
really? that seems like such an odd choice for
the man
summer.
does what he wants.
Yeah, he does, but why would they say, hey, let's release it in the middle of summer?
Because it's probably terrible.
Or maybe they just figure it's like a niche.
It's going for the Mamma Mia money.
Yeah, and that's exactly. It's like, well, there's a niche. There's like, maybe people are starving for this kind of thing.
Yeah, they need to counter program. I get that.
That's all.
And then a couple other things coming out. So Venus and Fur, Roman Polanski's next movie, will be coming out in the middle of summer, and that will not make a dime, but the trailer looks pretty fascinating. And I'm always excited to see a new Roman Polanski film. The other one, it's not going to be a wide release. I believe the Weinsteins they are releasing it, the director's cut of Snowpiercer, which has been.
I totally want to see that.
Yeah, it's and it was a massive release in Korea. I think it was the #1 film for weeks and weeks. It's been released all over the world except for America, and there's been all sorts of issues with what cut they want to use, blah 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 blah. So Snowpiercer, about a train that circumnavigates the frozen globe of Earth, and Chris Evans, Superman, Captain America, is going to fight for our freedom and get to the front get from the caboose to the front. So that we'll see how that plays out.
It's a French comic book that they just recently. It's been out for like 20 years, or maybe 30 years, but they just recently released it in English.
It's the only, because they couldn't get the Burger King tie-in, they just had to go with.
Exactly. Forget it. We don't need to do it.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe they'll get Subway, because they'll have a special sandwich.
Well, then nobody's gonna see it. Nobody sees any of the Subway stuff.
Have you ever played the weird game of what tie-ins go to what fast food restaurants, and you'll know if the film's going to suck or not?
Sometimes, but sometimes I've seen good stuff at Subway. And sometimes I go to Subway, and I've seen stuff.
I got an awesome Frozen bag from Subway.
Yeah, Frozen was at Subway.
Yeah, so was the Hunger Games. So it's like they seem to find those weird niche movies every so often. But last year they did The Lone Ranger.
I can't do that.
And maybe this is I think Burger King and the whole X-Men thing, that's a sign.
I hate Burger King, so it's automatically tainted whenever like a movie associates.
On the Burger King.
No, I agree with your first instinct about the X-Men. Seeing them for Burger King commercials first was a little disturbing.
Yeah. Well, it's a great advertising idea for 1992, but it doesn't work as well in today's modern day when you actually have this thing called the internet.
Side note, Burger King and Pepsi, the also-rans, have like the most dated advertising campaigns between the two of them. I feel like Pepsi's ads always feel like 10 years too late. Yeah. And it's the same with Burger King as well.
Yeah, probably the same company. Does their marketing.
Very successful company.
I would really, and I got to tell you now, as far as 3D movies go, I'm not a big fan of 3D films. Most of the time, they're a waste. Gravity being the last, true kind of film worth seeing in 3D. How to Train Your Dragon 2 will be a must in 3D. I saw the first one in 3D. And that was the first 3D film. I thought it was better than Avatar as far as its 3D. The climactic scene at the end with the giant dragon and all those things flying around and burst. It was exhilarating to see in 3D, especially with the flying sequences. I thought outdid Avatar. Yeah, and I just all the ads that for How to Train Your Dragon 2 right now. That's up there on my list of exciting things to see. I mean, it's Godzilla, How to Train Your Dragon 2. I'm very curious about Edge of Tomorrow. That's as far as the tent poles go. I think those are my big ones actually coming in a bit.
I was going to say for the 3D. I think I saw How to Train Your Dragon in 3D, the first one, and I think that was the last movie I saw in 3D because I really hate 3D, and I still don't want to. It was awesome in 3D, as far as 3D goes, but. Don't feel compelled to see this one in 3D. Like I've pretty much given up on 3D like 100%.
Yeah, I don't think 3D is going to be 3D is not going to save it. If it's great, it's going to be great on its own. Because I don't know if you remember the first one. The first one opened like in second or third place, and then actually crawled up to #1 the next week. It was a sleep. I mean, it was a sleeper. It was one of those movies that they thought were not going to be huge, and then blew up.
At my house. It's the movie. I've seen it a whole bunch of times. Austin watches the TV show. The TV. Right. How to Train Your Dragon, and he's read.
Yeah, the Netflix show is better than you think it would be.
Yeah, no, the episodes are great. They got a lot of the same voice talent too. Not all of them, but you know.
Sure. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
It's
no.
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon 2, I'm really excited about just because the story for the first one was fantastic. I thought the relationship between the kid and the dragon was great. I think Toothless as a dragon is just fantastic. The dragon designs themselves are really cool. The kid losing his leg, spoiler, in the first one, that was kind of mind-blowing for something of that time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a very mature piece of storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, and those dragons some of them are really scary. Like some of them are the thing of nightmares. Like on the TV show, they show a lot of different ones with like rows of teeth and like eyes that are like dead. Like it's like
no. There's some creepy stuff to where my EB watches it, and he's only 4. Don't call child services. But he'll stop, and you can tell he's always a little bit freaked out because he'll stop and look at you and go, oh, this is funny, isn't it? Oh, we're having fun.
We're laughing, right? We're laughing.
We're laughing, so it doesn't have the power over us.
And I think so wrapping up June really quick, odds are Transformers 4 will be the biggest movie of the summer. That's my theory, at least. Hopefully,
and we had this conversation. We've talked about Transformers before. I wish I had seen. I'm torn about 4. I haven't decided. I'm glad no one asked me directly because I don't know what I would say. I saw 3 finally and wished that I had seen it in the theater.
Yeah.
And had figured, if I'm going to see this kind of thing, I should see it in the theater. And this was a pretty decent movie. I would have been happy to have seen this in the theater. Not thrilled, not the greatest movie ever, but a good theater-going experience.
3 had some great spectacle in it, with the building falling over and everybody sliding down. It had some set pieces that were really outstanding. Yeah.
I would love to skydive 3D. I mean, that was
the 3D skydive was actually really, really fun to watch, and it did. And I think I mentioned this before on the show. Is it does exactly what 3D needed to do, which was slow Michael Bay down a little bit in his cutting.
Yeah.
And so things were much easier to follow. Yeah. It was much, it was much more. It was much more fluid in its cutting than any of his stuff.
That's right. Before. We had that conversation, and I posited that I enjoyed it more because of the restrictions.
Yeah.
Like I would have liked to have seen it 3D, and that's all fine. But the toning down of his filmmaking to accommodate 3D may have been why I liked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm still torn on Transformers 4.
Yeah, and I think that really helped him, of course, with Pain and Gain. I think he slowed down a little bit there as well, maybe a little too much at times, but it's anyways. So Transformers 4, Age of Extinction, the other Watch People Fly Around on Dinosaurs movie that month is probably going to be the biggest film of the summer. Let's hope something unseats it. So let's move on to July here.
There's only one movie in July.
There's only one movie in July, and it's the movie that I'm waiting for the most, which is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. On
Hercules.
John. Well, let me tell you something. If there's anybody I trust, it is Brett Ratner, and The Rock.
He's a modern day myth maker himself,
Yeah. The myth being that he has talent. Anyways, but yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes on July 11th. I'm
sorry, I love that that's the myth. That's the story I tell my children at night to frighten them. What Brett Ratner has is called talent. No, that's not true. All right.
So, anyways, yeah. So July's actually starting off pretty small with a Deliver Us from Evil, Earth to Echo, Tammy, Begin Again. Apparently, I think they're
Deliver Us from Evil the sequel to Deliver Us from Eva. Probably.
Yeah. No. But I think they're expecting Transformers Age of Extinction to just wipe out the next couple weeks, so people are afraid of actually putting something out during that time. Not until July 11th. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is coming out, and we've seen now some TV ads. We've seen monkeys on horseback. We've seen monkeys with warrior paint on their faces. We have seen a fantastic cast with Gary Oldman and oh my God, Clark. His last name is Clark. I can't think of his name. He was in Zero Dark 30. And, of course, you got Andy Serkis. No, close, though. It's something Clark. Jason Clark, thank you. Jason Clark, and, of course, Andy Serkis is reprising his role as Caesar, and they've got guns, and they've got this is one I'm fearful because Rise of the Planet of the Apes was such a surprise and has some great stuff to it, and from what I've heard, though, they showed the first 20 minutes at MovieCon. What's the thing that CinemaCon that just took place for theater owners a couple months ago or a couple weeks ago?
Oh, I know.
Apparently, the first 20 minutes and stuff, there's giant chunks of the apes using sign language and subtitles like we see in Rise. So that to me is a solid sign that they're not going to betray their roots and just have them talking outright. Hey Frank, how's it going? Good. Let's go kill some people.
Right.
Oh sure, Frank the Ape. Everybody knows Frank. You don't know Frank? We're Facebook friends. Yeah. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes looks like the biggest one. A couple others actually. Well, the other one that's the most fascinating is the. Well, there are a couple here. Boyhood is for indie crowds. Boyhood is Richard Linklater's film that he shot over, what was it, 16 years? 8 years? 9 years, something like that? He started, I think, in 2002. Never mind. So it's been 10 years, 12 years. And every couple years shot new scenes, so you actually get to see a 6-year-old boy grow up through high school. And Ethan Hawke is in it, Patricia Arquette as the parents. So it's the idea that you actually get to see these people age on screen, and then apparently the content of watching them grow up, it's always about the first date, the dealing with the struggles and this and the other thing, but the moments that Linklater apparently chooses is very different than what you'd expect from most coming-of-age movies. So it's 140 minutes, I believe. It's quite long, but that's one that I'm...
Real time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's 12 years. So it's a long one. It's the... It's the Fanny and Alexander. It's the Berlin Alexanderplatz of
they have one intermission, so it's nice.
Yes, yeah. Well, you got to pee during that. After 6 years.
2018.
Yeah. So that's going to be relatively exciting. And then the other one that I feel for July is going to be a fascinating. Oh, there's where we have, by the way, our planes, fire, and rescue. So congratulations, money grubbing fucks.
You know something? I don't know. Oh, it's so bad. I want to see it. I'm going to see it.
You want to see it, or you're going to take your kids?
You have no choice.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take my kids to see it, but I'm so curious. Now I saw the first one. I saw it in one of those second or third run movies, and it looked like a scratchy old hand animation reel by the time I saw it. Like I don't know what happened to the projector, but they did not get a digital print. This was a film print.
The projector tried to kill itself.
Yeah, this is a film print somehow. Either that or they just have the world's dirtiest lens somehow. But so it was a terrible print of a terrible movie, and the kids just loved it.
Of course they did.
Cheering at the end.
They wept with joy.
I'm sure they did. The Wachowskis are back with Jupiter Ascending on the 18th. I don't know. I really like. I don't even want to say I'm a Wachowski apologist. I think actually they do really interesting stuff. Whether they succeed or fail, we can put this 2 Matrix sequels behind us, and there's something about Speed Racer that I find really fascinating. Cloud Atlas, which I just rewatched again, I don't think succeeds 100%, but has so much interesting stuff within it, and what they're trying to do is it's next level shit, man. It's weird. I mean, but it's weird. It's like they really are. I mean,
is it though? I mean, how much of their ramblings is just passing a joint around in a dorm room? Like how much of it is a mile wide and an inch deep? Because that's the feeling I get from a lot of their later work.
Yeah, no, I think Cloud Atlas actually is much deeper than that. It's much bigger than that, and I don't.
Well, I didn't see it, so I'm reserving judgment. But
sure, of course, yeah, and it hasn't been taken apart. It hasn't been unpacked completely. I feel because every time I've now watched it 2.5 times, and you start finding other little connections within it and who knows if it's the text or if it's just somebody wanting to start reading into things, but the fact that those clues or hints are there that make you go, oh, this is kind of interesting, this and this, and it's that fractured time space between time, jumping between times, and how stories relate to each other either in major or minor ways, or how very minor things that take place today could end up being the germ of revolution tomorrow. Is really kind of fascinating. But Jupiter Ascending, at least they're creating worlds here versus relying on franchises. They haven't been weighted, and they're like, fuck it, we're gonna make Matrix 4 now and hope that it works. They're not delving back into old wells. They're continually trying to.
It won't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's.
By the way, Wait, we're totally talking about you, Pirates of the Caribbean 4.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they're still trying to get a Pirates 5 going. We've got a Transformers 4, and admittedly these are making a shitload of money, but the Wachowskis are trying to find new stories to tell and different ways of telling them, and that I have total respect for that. I mean, they took something even with Speed Racer.
I respect that as well. Conceptually, that's a laudable goal.
Mm-hmm.
In execution, I'm reserving judgment.
Sure, agreed. And at times, and I think within every film there are failures and success. They have not encapsulated everything that they were able to pull off in either the first Matrix movie or Bound. But what they try is worthy of respect, and the fact that they get to work with such a huge palette. I mean, this is the canvas they get is massive, and what they try to pull off. They shoot for 1,000.
How much do you think?
Go ahead.
Are they still working hand in hand with Joel Silver? Was he part of Cloud Atlas?
No, Cloud Atlas was completely financed independently by them. They actually found all the foreign money themselves and everything else like that. So they raised $100 million to make Cloud Atlas on their own.
Is Jupiter Ascending Joel Silver?
That I'm not sure about. I'd have to look that up.
I wonder if he's helped them all he could at this point, and now he's just hurting them.
Yeah, the silver thing is always kind of an iffy thing, and who knows? Like, I'm not sure what he's involved with anymore, because it's every so often I see his name on something, and I feel like he's almost the new Golden Globus. So there's things about that, but Jupiter Ascending looks interesting. Who knows if it'll be any good? But you've got Channing Tatum, who theoretically is a box office draw. You've got Mila Kunis, who's theoretically a box office draw. To watch a janitor become the Princess of Mars, or Princess of Jupiter, excuse me, Queen of Jupiter. We'll see.
Tatum's got 2 movies 2 months in a row.
We'll see. Yeah. Also, there was one other thing that I saw here that was coming out. Oh, right. Of course, we have Hercules. Sex Tape, I'm kind of curious about. We haven't had a lot. I mean, so far, I haven't seen a ton of comedies past A Million Ways to Die in the West. I'm sure there are a couple in here. But Sex Tape has Cameron Diaz, who is really a solid comedian. I mean, whether the movie's good or not, the woman's got skills. Jason Segel, and it's a cute concept. But the one that I'm really most curious about is A Most Wanted Man, coming out July 25th, which is an Anton Corbijn movie. He made The American and Control, and it is one of Philip Seymour Hoffman's last films, and it is based off a John le Carré novel. So that sneaks right into my wheelhouse of things that I like. Because I
see
Tinker Tailor.
Yeah. God, I'm sorry, Alien 3 is on. This is just a bad movie.
Okay, well...
Visually, he didn't have a grip.
Yeah, well, again, we can discuss Alien 3 some other time, because his other cut is pretty fascinating. All right, so let's see here. Anything else? Does anybody else see anything on July that looks kind of fascinating? The Purge Anarchy will probably make a fortune.
Yeah, I never saw the first one, but I think it's kind of... interesting that the things I've read from the director talk about opening it up, that people felt the last one was too claustrophobic. And I guess I thought that was the point.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. That was the whole point of the movie as well.
Yeah, it was a low-budget horror movie, and that they're supposed to be sort of claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Well, they got some budget now.
Yep. So then moving on to August 2014. Of course, August is going to hopefully open strong with Guardians of the Galaxy. We'll see how that does. I have felt, not myself, but I have seen audiences feel a little mixed when I see the trailer play in theaters. I think there's some head scratching going on, because this is not what one would expect. This is not an Iron Man. This is not a Captain America, who we've now that template that has made Marvel incredibly successful is about to blow itself up into something completely different here. And we will see how that plays out.
It's not 100% different, because a lot of the Marvel universe does touch on that intergalactic world that's out there, and like Thor touches on it because he travels between realms, and you have the cube that comes from another world, and the alien invasion, and it all sort of ties together. I mean, the comics sort of touch on that, and so it's not completely.
But
I don't know.
But the other heroes are so, but the other heroes are so grounded, and it's their grounding in the real world that makes them, I think, so appealing to us. And you're right; they reach tentatively with the Thor movies into space, and then with the Avengers climax, they sort of unleash the space-time hell. And then this one is going to take place almost entirely in space, is my understanding. So it's really going to bridge that gap and leave us out there. In the Marvel multiverse.
And well, I've heard that they're going to tie together. It will come together in Avengers 2.
They just announced that.
Yeah.
I think it will be, to me, will audiences accept a talking raccoon? Beyond that isn't a Pixar movie. And that's going to be kind of a big thing. And this is much more of a comedy than the other films have been. The other films have comedy within them, but this has a lot more out-and-out comedy. We've got Chris Pratt playing Han Solo, basically. So we'll see how that rears back. Coming out also in... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Has there been a space comedy like this since like the glory days of Spaceballs and Ice Pirates and some of the other '80s space comedies?
You know what's really funny? Sorry, which one? Galaxy Quest.
Quest.
Yeah. But Galaxy Quest had that thing where it was making fun of science fiction itself. You know? But Guardians. True, but I think the one that Dub points out that is the most interesting is Ice Pirates, because that kind of falls much closer into what we're almost dealing with here in a weird way.
Well, I don't know how. Ice Pirates is way out there. I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy has gone as far as Ice Pirates. I mean, Ice Pirates had space herpes.
Sure, agreed. Yeah.
I think this will be a little bit more. I think this is more serious than we think.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit more serious than we think. I don't know anything about the comics, so I don't know. But I know that the director,
James Gunn,
he's got a lot of dark and violent movies. So it may be funny, but it might be like a black humor type of funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still very excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just really curious to see how audiences are going to receive it. That'll be that's going to be kind of the big litmus test, I guess, for how far Marvel films are going to be able to kind of start pushing things.
Yeah, this is clearly the movie everybody was clamoring not to be made. Like, nobody was asking for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Agreed. We have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, thank God. So Michael Bay is striking again, producing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with their creepy lips.
I think it's so terrible. I think it's so terrible to do live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. Yeah. They look so creepy, and they did, whether they were in rubber masks or whether they're computer-generated. Yeah, they're just freakish-looking creatures.
I think that's where the mutant part comes in.
It's another movie that nobody asked to be made.
Yeah, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is something that they have tried for years and years and years. And although the first one, if I remember correctly, the first film back from, what was it, 89, 90, whenever that was, it did relatively well. I mean, did well enough to give them 2 more sequels. One with and Vanilla Ice did not help.
Didn't hurt. At that point, didn't hurt.
This is true. That's a very good point. He is cool as ice. And then a couple other little Lucy. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for Lucy yet, but it's Luc Besson does La Femme Nikita with techno drugs.
I was thinking you could do. That guy cranks out as a part of so many movies.
Oh yeah, he's got his little cottage industry going on.
He owns the French film industry. And they're all like these action movies where people are kicking ass and like it's crazy.
Yeah, it's
gotta be straight up.
That movie Brick Mansion.
The French film industry is funded by the government. There's a huge government subsidy in what is essentially the French film industry. They wouldn't be profitable if it weren't for government money. So I'm wondering if he's just so well connected at this point in his career that his name, and maybe he runs the industry or something like that. Like maybe his name ends up getting attached to a great number of projects because he's the funnel through which the government reign.
Packed on, but a lot of the movies look like his kind of movies. I mean, like that movie Brick Mansions. I don't know if it's out now, right?
Yes, it's out.
That's one of his movies. He had a French movie. It was District B13.
Yep, that movie's a blast.
And that's a fun movie. It's a great movie, and I'm really disappointed that they remade it as an American. Like, it's not going to be as good, but
well, also, but one of the things Besson also does is one of the things Besson also does though is he makes a lot of these in English. So you've got like Columbiana and the Taken movies and the Transporter films, and God, I can't even think of what other ones there are. But I think From Paris with Love, and like I mean, he's got.
Wait, did you say you said the Transporter movies, right?
Yes, yeah, and the first Transporter movie I think is a blast.
Yeah.
The first Taken movie is a blast. Columbiana is I mean he's got to shit these scripts out like on a regular basis. It's like okay, we'll take
Columbiana was supposed to be like a rough draft of a sequel to Leon. Yeah, to Leon. Okay. It was like that was her grown up. He changed the story around to parents being killed by somebody else and yada yada yada. But yeah, he cranks out these scripts and these story ideas. Like from a dream from Luc Besson. I mean, that was The Fifth Element. It was a dream.
Right. Yeah. His 16-year-old weird little dream. Yeah. And he's and he's not. But he is directing Lucy. So this is him coming back into the director's chair. He's directed a few other films in French most of the time. I know Angel A and a couple others were directed by him, but he's been producing a lot and writing a lot, but he hasn't actually been in the director's chair a lot as far as American releases go.
Right, the Kevin Costner movie that came out too, I saw it. I didn't even realize it was him. It was like 3 days or
was it 3 Days to Kill or whatever the most recent one was?
3 Days to Kill or something like that. Yeah, it was. He wrote that, until I saw his name in the credit, I didn't know that. I was just like, what? And it's a Luc Besson movie. It's like, it takes place in Europe. He's a killer. Right. He's got a family to take care of too at the same time. It's like, it's the lovable hitman.
Yeah, he has his template that he sticks to, and it's like every fourth, fifth movie ends up being decent. I remember Taken wasn't even supposed to be. Method. Yeah, Taken was going to be a direct-to-video, I believe, at some point in time or something like that. But then it did so well in Europe, they released it in America, and it turned Liam Neeson into an action star. I mean, it's because of that we have Nonstop and whatever the other Forgotten or yeah.
Taken 2.
Taken 2, Taken 3 coming soon. That's excited about that. And it feels like we're gonna close off the summer though with Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Now, here's my question. Too late?
That's what I'm worried about, because the first one was awesome. Yeah, and it really had an impact at the time.
Yeah, it was great. And now they've done a lot of movies since then that were kind of rip-offs of it. So it feels like I don't know if it's too late, but it feels kind of late for the party.
Yeah, it has that 300 Rise of an Empire feel for me. Where it's why now?
It doesn't feel that bad, but the 300 Rise of Empire, that was a movie where everybody at the end died. So let's have a sequel. It's like what?
Yeah, it's.
But I would love to see more Sin City movies, and in fact, I was, I had always, I don't know if I heard this or I dreamed it or I just really really wanted it to be so, but I thought Rodriguez was going to make shorts, periodically. In that same vein, in that same style, from the Frank Miller stories. I'm not sure where I picked that up.
That does sound awkwardly familiar to me. Yeah. But
it might have been around the time when Steven Soderbergh was experimenting with VOD when he did, was it Bubble Boy or whatever that movie was? Bubble.
Yeah.
I think I heard something that made Robert Rodriguez was in talks to release Sin City episodes that way. Again, I could be just dreaming it.
Yeah,
but it might be
stuff like that.
But it's funny. There's a big Austin presence on the summer blockbuster list.
Yes,
with Boyhood finally coming out.
Yep.
And a month later, Sin City.
Yep, A Dame to Kill For, and of course we've got the Expendables 3 because every fucking summer we have to have an Expendables movie.
So?
Yeah, I mean it's clearly going to make enough to make another one. And then they'll just keep going. Yeah. But that's funny. If you've already got like Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme in there, who do you get in the straight-to-video evolution of the franchise?
Yeah, well, that's where you get your Jeff Speakmans and you start pulling those weird guys out of retirement.
Jeff Fahey.
Jeff Fahey, yeah. Jeff Fahey.
You remember me from other action movies you can't identify me in.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see.
Look out, it's Billy Zane.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Wait. Can I just close out at the end of summer? Leprechaun Origins. there's a leprechaun passing of the torch, and there's a new guy playing the leprechaun. He's a former WWE wrestling midget, little person. His name is Dylan Hornswoggle Postal.
Oh yeah, sure, Hornswoggle, of course. Yeah.
So Hornswoggle back in the mask, or for the first time, for the last time, for Leprechaun Origin.
So
which I'm hoping
is Leprechaun
tells the
origin production?
It is not a WWE production.
Okay. All right. Fascinating.
However, and this one sounds a little different. So follow me here. An evil, sadistic leprechaun goes on a killing rampage in search of his beloved pot of gold. So taking the story in a new direction.
Yeah.
It would have been a better direction if like a young leprechaun starts a startup company making apps for ice cream stores, but gets enraged when his...
It's pretty much the plot of Adventureland with a leprechaun.
Exactly.
Like an evil, murderous leprechaun who periodically kills people, but still, he rides in a lot of cars to like acoustic music, staring wistfully out like the rain-swept window.
And falls in love with a woman who's just too pretty for him.
So really quick before we wrap up, anything you think is going to tank incredibly? Like what do we think is going to be? What do we think is going to be the big bomb? What's our Lone Ranger if it's not already Transcendence, which Transcendence already is our Lone Ranger of this year probably.
Transcendence is going to be pretty good because that movie's going to lose a lot of money. I wonder how Hercules is going to do. So close on the heels of another meh Hercules.
Yeah, well,
now it's not.
This one has The Rock,
only
though.
Going to be going up against whatever movies are still successful at that point.
I don't know if anybody's expecting Hercules. I mean, I guess maybe they're expecting more out of Hercules. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't feel that Hercules is going to be bringing in tons of money, but I don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't think anybody's expecting it to be a huge, magnum opus of mythology either.
It could be like Maleficent or
Maleficent.
Maleficent.
Yes. Or Edge of Tomorrow could be.
Well, I think the real threat this summer is How to Train Your Dragon 2, and I say that because that's got the broadest family appeal, I think, and that could plow through a lot of these weekends. That could hurt Transformers 4 if it's got the word of mouth.
Right. Well, it's got 3 weeks though on Transformers 4. Yeah. You know, it is,
but it could be around. I mean, that's the kind of movie I could see in October, conceivably. Like it could stick in those multiplexes for a long, long time.
Yeah. Oh no, I see. Pun intended. How to Train Your Dragon 2 having a long tail.
Hey,
thank you.
We should end it there. Right there.
And cut.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to see if there was anything specific that feels like, Edge of Tomorrow could be the one big junker. Part of me, I'm really curious. Never mind. The problem is, even if X-Men: Days of Future Past blows, it's still going to make money. I mean, they're still going to, you can't.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
It's a failure. A failure for that movie is a Superman Returns. It makes
agreed,
a ton of money, nowhere near as much money as they thought it would.
Right. Yeah, which
is
is
not going to not make a ton of money.
Which is always weird to me because it's like it's such an odd form of Schadenfreude where it's like they're talking about where they talk about Man of Steel. They're like, Man of Steel only made $700 million. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, why even try to make a sequel?
Yeah.
Well, I think what has happened is I think Christopher Nolan has changed the game. He's changed the conversation on what these movies should be, and if they're not critical successes, huge critical successes as much as they are financial successes, they're just not viewed as being worthy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I liked Man of Steel. Like I enjoyed it. I liked it. It was a little long, but it was good. In my mind.
Yeah, I will humbly disagree with you. But yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, to be really honest, I tried watching it again recently, and there are things about it that actually had a lot of potential, and there are things about it that just fall very flat. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Snowpiercer might come out and end up being a weird sleeper hit this summer. I was trying to see if there was anything that really kind of could be.
It's going to be buried.
I think Jersey Boys could be.
Jersey Boys could be around for a while. That could have a long tail.
Jersey Boys. Yeah, I was gonna say that as far as like the adult cinema goes for the summer, like there's no what was the hotel one in India?
Right.
From a couple of years ago. I want to say New Budapest, Grand Budapest Hotel. No, not Grand Budapest Hotel.
No. The Magical Marigold Hotel.
Yeah, something Marigold Hotel, right. So that was one
at the End of the World Hotel.
Yeah, there are these movies that are made for an older audience, which is always nice to have during the summer. It's always nice to have a couple of movies like that. But unfortunately for me, Jersey Boys is trying to be that movie. We'll see if they actually pull it off. There could be a couple other things in here. I'm trying to The Rover. I mean, there's some really neat looking indie films coming out. The Rover being another one of them. The Congress actually was the Ari Goldman film with Robin Wright. Is where it played at Cannes.
What?
The Congress. It played at Cannes last year. Ari Goldman, who did Waltz with Bashir. It's Robin Wright plays Robin Wright, and she sells her image to be like a first full CG kind of actress thing, and it's got a weird animation style to it at times. It looks real.
An animated movie. Waltz with Bashir was a great movie.
Yeah, it goes back and forth between live action and these very bizarre, weird stylized animation style. So it looks really interesting. It probably won't be a massive success, but there are these little gems out there, hopefully, that we'll be picking up on over the summer. That's you get tired of the tentpole stuff. You're gonna find something small that you might enjoy. So, anyways, okay, let's wrap this thing up here. So, Dub, where can people find you?
At Film Geek Dub. I've been tweeting more regularly.
I've noticed.
And actually, I saw several things this weekend. I decided to start keeping the movie on Turner Classics Movies, just to see what's on. And I caught probably like 90% of Gunga Din.
Yeah, good film.
Great film. I need to go back and see the 10% I was missing. I loved it, and I couldn't believe how well it was directed. Like there were some fantastic shots in that.
Yeah.
So I would recommend that movie. And I thought of you, Santo, quite a bit because it was so clearly a heavy influence for Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Oh, Gunga Din?
Yeah, just through and through. There's even a bridge sequence.
Yeah. Well, it's
they're fighting the Thuggee cult.
Mm-hmm.
Which had been wiped out but is now resurgent. I mean, there's a lot of Gunga Din going on there.
Yeah, so did you notice who directed Gunga Din?
Yes, I did.
And it was?
George Stevens.
The director that you hate.
I indeed recognized that.
Yeah.
I have a theory that I need to investigate, which is that I only like him in 133.
That is an interesting theory, and we'll have to get back to that one.
You're right. I knew you would like that. So that's something I knew.
We will have to do it. We will have to do an aspect ratio episode, and we will.
I think he's better. I think he composes shots better in 133.
133. That's really fascinating. Yeah. That's
like
really fascinating.
So, a palpable excitement in the air.
My understanding of George Stevens is that this is pre and post war.
Yes, and Stevens is. There's actually. Oh God, 5 came back. I think.
Yeah,
is the title of the book.
I heard that on NPR.
Yeah, that's one I really want to read because I read The Gentleman's Last book on Revolution, the films at a Revolution about the Oscar nominees of 1968. But yeah, 5 came back talking about John Ford, William Wyler, George Stevens, Billy Wilder. No, I forget who the other two are. I feel bad. Howard Hawks maybe, and someone else. But yeah, it's about directors who were making movies. Houston, right? Went off to World War II, came back, and how that altered, I believe, their filmmaking or what they did during the war, as far as making propaganda films or support the troops films and stuff of that ilk.
Yeah, essentially doing the thing that they did in support of their country, and what they did was manipulate audiences. I mean,
George Stevens, the one that went. He was the first one into like one of the concentration camps.
Yes, yeah. Stevens was one of the ones. Yep.
Stopped what they were doing. He took the camera himself, realized that he was now documenting, as opposed
history.
To filming. What he was doing now was documenting war crimes.
Yeah.
Like he sort of stopped like everything, went in by himself and took film of all the horrors.
Yeah, it's there. When it comes time to like contextualize filmmakers, actors of that generation that we really love and appreciate, and realize that they were part of the Great War or a Great War, and it's one of those weird things to think that how many people did Jimmy Stewart kill? You know, because he was a bombardier. And it's one of those.
I think of that all the time.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things where you're like, wow.
I think of that too. Wait, he went to war?
Yeah. Many of them did. Yeah, it's a pretty bizarre
Actually,
thing.
The best part about that is that I think it's significant. The man he didn't kill. Nothing. No.
Like Hitler.
Bueller.
Silence.
Is this sorry?
The man who shot Liberty Valance. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Get it.
Okay. And Warren, where can people find you?
You can find me at Warren Graff. How's that?
Excellent. And you can find me at John Santo. Please, if you want, we are going to be putting out lots of other stuff kind of as time goes on. We've started kind of recording some other small side conversations, start recording some smaller reviews, things like that will be going up on the channel. So keep checking back for that. Comment below if you feel like you want to. Also subscribe because subscribing is what it's all about. Not that we're trying to do anything huge or glamorous with any of this, but we appreciate any kind of support that anybody's willing to throw at us. So we'll give you an address to send us blank checks to next week. Next week, not sure what the topic is, but we will have something, and I'm sure we'll probably have a little report back on how we feel about Spider-Man 2, possibly Gunga Din, possibly aspect ratios. There's all sorts.
Exciting.
It's a massive world of cinema out there, folks, and we're going to bring it to you right here on Film Geek Primer Live. All right, and Shu, because you're still watching out there, probably play us out. All right, good night, folks.